Loading snacks.
What's good, Loading Snacks universe? Your boy Jokes here. I'm at AwesomeCon 2026.
AwesomeCon!
And right now, I have a couple of special guests with me. Faces that you probably are familiar with from watching the show over time. But let me do you a favor. I'm going to introduce them to you. I right now have Sutphin with me and Nakia Burrise with me. Very honored to have both of you guys on right now.
Honored to be on, thanks.
JD, you know, we've talked a lot. Nakia, I had the opportunity to talk with you at BlurCon. The last time we had a conversation, comics were not an actual thing at that point in time for it. So now I wanted to kind of revisit and talk a little bit about the comics that we now have going on within the Power Rangers universe that you guys are working on. Can you give me a little info on what we got going on?
So we got to drop Power Rangers across the Morphin Grid last year. Not only the actual collective issue, but then also the graphic novel that Nakia and I got to write a story about where Tanya is now. And it was really the first Zeo story in, what, 25 years, 30 years?
Yeah, because Zeo ended in 97, 96, somewhere around there.
That's wild.
Yeah. I'm often asked, where is Tanya today? Because as people know, I am the only one from my group that never returned to the show. So we got a chance to finally answer those questions that fans have been asking. Where's Tanya? Who did she end up with? And we answer that all in this 8-page story called Tanya's Heavy Metal Rescue.
I'm a heavy metal kind of guy.
Hey, listen, it fits the bill. And I just thought it was so amazing. Like we had that discussion, and it's like a lot of people don't have the opportunity to then go and revisit those type of things and being able to do it. And being able to do it in a comic format really gives you that freedom to kind of explore and to do those type of things. So it would be great to be able to see it live on screen.
Amen.
Comics, though, just give you that freedom to really go in, explore, and do things that necessarily you didn't think were possible for it. You know, how did we get to the point of making that an actual realistic thing for it?
That's an interesting question, I think, but I totally agree with what you're saying about comics, because the thing that's great about it, just like with any book too, is that it leaves it up to the reader, because your imagination will always be better than anything that we could ever film. And you're gonna feel it in a different way and think about the depth of why this scene went to the next, or what this person was thinking, because we don't have the time or the space to say it. And when you leave it up to that person, it's just like writing a song. Like, I kind of feel like songwriters shouldn't tell you what the song's about, because it's great when it connects with different people for so many different reasons. As far as bringing it to live action, I mean, I'll be game for it anytime. They can call us. My phone number is probably on a website somewhere.
That would be amazing. That would be really amazing. We'll see what the future holds. You know, they're revamping or rebooting Power Rangers. So
yeah, Disney Plus.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, I know that the comics have become a really, really huge part of the comic land, I suppose. Boom made that possible.
Yeah, and Boom really, to me, as like a person that was a fan before being able to be involved in it, I think that Boom actually went even further than the show got to, because I mean, you've only got a limited amount of time, but when you can do 40 issues of something and tell so many different perspectives and different types of action sequences, just everything that us fans wanted to see, has been really, really cool.
Yeah. It's been really, really cool, because like the comics have gone into an area that, like, I feel like even as someone that has grown up with it, you wouldn't think to see certain characters' backstories and like how characters came to be a thing. Other people that become Rangers that necessarily you wouldn't think that would necessarily become a Ranger. I think that's a great thing about comics that you can actually get into. And I know, of course, there is another comic out there. I know not much from it just as of yet, but Never Never Kids, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
Give me a little insight onto the Never Never Kids side of things.
So you're going to be seeing a lot more about the Never Never Kids this year. This is a story that Nakia and I have been working on for a long time. We've been talking about it. But that's been the fun part, in my opinion, though, of that process.
Yeah, figuring out the world of the comic. You know, we had to have a grasp of that. So in creating something, you don't want to do, you know, real quick, because then you don't really have the story behind the story.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's what we really had to work on.
Got it.
And so I feel like we have finally grasped that. And so, yeah, it has nothing to do with Power Rangers, by the way.
Nope.
Guys. Yeah.
So, and Never Never Kids, just so that you know, is set in 1995. It's in a small town in New Jersey. An alien professor, scientist, is doing experiments that might lead to some kids having some superpowers and being the only way that the world can be saved. And it's going to be very meta in that 90s vibe because we both love the 90s. And I miss the 90s.
Yeah.
From the music to the vibe, the culture, and all that.
To the dress, to the everything, yes.
But what's been cool over the last couple of years of working on this series that, like I said, will come out this year, is building an emotional relationship with the characters and wanting to go as deep as possible with who these people are, because that is the superpower of a real good comic, is caring about the fact of whether Clark and Lois are together or Scott and Jean having to send their kid to the future. That stuff is the superpower. You know, the most human stories are why it connects. So that's what we've been working on.
I love it. New stuff incoming. I love it. The Power Ranger comic is available currently.
Absolutely.
So I imagine anywhere comics are sold, someone could be able to
Yes,
go
sir.
in and get that. I love it. Last piece, before we get out, you guys can do me a favor. Let everybody know if they wanted to be able to follow along the journey, Power Rangers, Never Never Kids. One, how would they do it? And then also, let us know a little quick thing about Big Lit Comic Con while we're at it as well,
Oh,
too.
sweet. Well, thank you. So, Big Lit Comic Con, biglitcomiccon.com. We've got 4 shows a year. We might be adding a 5th in 2027. And you can find her at Nakia Burrise on Instagram, has all the fun stuff, at
Yeah.
JD Sutphin for me, at Never Never Kids. We'll be having some really cool things dropping soon.
Von Burrise Productions.
That's our company.
.com. And I also have a YouTube channel and a Patreon called Power Rangers Playback, where my best friend and I, Catherine Sutherland, have teamed up to bring back some Power Ranger nostalgia. We have a YouTube, Patreon, Power Rangers Playback.com is our website.
Amazing.
Thanks, y'all.
I appreciate it.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you guys taking the time to do that for it.
Of course.
Guys, this is just day 2, and we still have a lot that we have to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and step off so we can get some more work done. But until then, I'll catch you later.
Thanks, y'all.
What's good, Loading Snacks universe? Did you think that was too sweet? Well, do me a favor. Like, share, and subscribe on whatever platform you're watching us on. And also, jump on over to patreon.com/loading snacks, where you can support us in everything we do and pick the tier of your choice. Much appreciated.